What's up, guys? Man, I know it's been a very, 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 very long time since I've even posted a video on this channel. I know I had high hopes for myself. I'm thinking I even had a whole schedule, like when to post, what I was gonna talk about, the topics. Had everything written out. Ready to share, ready to really get into this and share what I've known. And then I just get hit with this wave of like deep sadness and depression and fear and these feelings that I've been running from and trying to avoid. And part of the reason why I wanted to make this channel was to like share and like things that I've learned and things that have helped me, but just to really help others understand like the underlying, like when you don't get support from your like emotional support from your parents, and if you don't have that in your immediate environment, it really changes your brain structure and it really changes how you operate and how you perceive things. And just because it's not visible, or even though you didn't receive any like physical harm, like some of them do, like in this situation we're just gonna stick with the emotional part. And I really want to explain that it's people like they just want to like do it away because you can't touch it. It's not physical. They're like, oh, that's just something in your mind. You can just think yourself out of it. In this case, no. And it's been science proved and backed up that people that suffer from complex PTSD or childhood emotional neglect, their brain chemistry has changed. And it's due to constant and repetitive, like, invalidation, betrayal, lies, like treating you like your feelings don't matter. Like, this is constant. So your brain has to make sense of this. Your brain has to figure out a way to deal with this, because this is just so constant. So then the way you perceive things, they change. And then it's like you almost get like this Stockholm syndrome with like the abuser, because it's like you can't escape them, especially as a child. And this is the crucial part. And this is why I believe that so many people struggle as adults when they have dealt with childhood emotional neglect. It locks you, it feels like you're in this cage. Or like, I like to explain it, it's like I'm in this glass box, and we have like, it's a thick glass box, and the world is outside and I'm in this box, and everyone can see me, but they can't interact with me. All they can see is the superficial. And it's like you have this thick wall between you and the rest of the world, and you don't feel connected. It just feels like everyone's against you. It feels like you're trying to climb up a waterfall, and you feel wrong. You don't feel like you should be here. It's just a very painful experience to know, and all you want is connection, right? All you want is to feel validated, to feel loved. But at the same time, since I just explained earlier, your brain chemistry has changed. So the way that you perceive and feel that you should receive love is warped. And an example of that would be, let's say, like, loosely just talking about, like, let's say that you were raised in a home where there was always arguing, and there was always fighting and scrapping over who did what, and there was power games, right? And you grew up watching that with your parents. Then you've in your mind, in your child brain, you have assessed everything, and your bond is made up like, hey, this is how love is. Like, you're gonna argue sometimes, you're gonna fight, but that's not gonna end the relationship, because you saw that your parents still stayed together even after your dad just like punched your mom in the face, but she still's there. You're like, oh, that's true love right there. You can withstand and you can overcome like anything if you just work it out. And then you take that and you look for that in other relationships subconsciously, because that's what you think that it is. And I can speak from my experiences, where I pick emotionally unavailable people all the time. Both my parents were emotionally unavailable. They didn't know how to validate me. They didn't know how to express any other emotions besides anger, sadness, or happiness. They forced happiness in the family. There was a lot of forced laughter, a lot of just laughing at a lot of things, because we were all dying inside. We were all aching. And I look for that in other partners. You know, and then like I always kept finding myself with this familiar feeling of feeling alone, even amongst other people, and I did not know why. And it just followed me. It wasn't just romantic relationships, it was also friendships as well too. It's like, why am I attracting, or why am I seeking these emotionally unavailable people? Because it's something that's familiar to me, and I'm sure that a lot of you can attest to that too. Childhood emotional neglect is like having like this big ass like brick on your back. You know, it's just, you feel so unloved and so unsupported, and you don't think that anyone is going to be able to help you, because it's just, you just feel so far gone. And I'm here to help you. I'm here, like, not to help you, but I'm here to let you know that there is hope, and you will be able to climb yourself out of this hole. I'm not saying that you will completely be free of this, because complex PTSD is it's like you like running into a cactus patch, or falling into a cactus patch, and then when you come out, you have all these needles and pins in you, and when you're healing, it's like you have to pull out one by one. This isn't one of those things where you can just like do one thing and all, like, you have been constantly been met with abuse so many times. It's like it's so many different ways, and it's like little needles that just keep constantly just getting stuck in you. It's you know, just sitting back and thinking about it. But there are ways to alleviate this, because I know you want to escape this. You want to have rewarding relationships. You want to feel love. You want to feel validated and celebrated, and you know, and you just want to feel safe amongst other people, because right now I know you probably avoid a lot of people. You avoid a lot of people because you don't know. You know, you thought that you had met people that really cared about you, that really just like that showed their love, but that wasn't love, because once again, your mindset was warped. So you perceived that as love, but it really wasn't. It was just manipulation. And I want to tell you, you got this shit, dude. You got this shit, dude. So I want to talk about how to heal. I want to talk about how to get this journey started, especially if you haven't already. I began this journey about, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. And it all started out when I couldn't sleep, like at all, for weeks. Definitely, it was, I couldn't figure out why I was always in this such anxious state 24/7. It was because of my environment and how I was raised. It was constant stress. I was always like told to do this, or my parents didn't let me relax, or I just couldn't have a moment to myself. I literally would like lock myself in the room, because when I came out of the room, my parents are asking me to do this, that, and the third, or then my siblings are coming out and they're trying to roast me or talk shit about me, and I would just go back in the room and close the door, because I'm just like, what is this? My whole family is like against me. They just can't wait for me to come. I was like, they can't wait for me to make fun of me or something. They like, and then they get mad that I wanted to be in the room and not spend time with them. It's like, why would I want to be outside here with you fuckers and y'all are making fun of me? Like, seriously, like, what is this? So, but let's get back to the topic at hand. First and foremost, when you want to get started in this journey, you have to revisit your pain, your trauma. You have to understand why you are the way that you are, with no judgment, with no critiquing. It has to be, it is what it is. This is mildly, it's an observation, right? You have to kind of decondition your brain from thinking a certain way. And the first step is to kind of understand, like, oh, I see why I am the way I am. And this is kind of like where this video ties in, because we're talking about childhood emotional neglect, complex PTSD. These are two things that kind of go hand in hand. So it's knowing these things, knowing how, you know, the symptoms that cause these, so that way you can better manage them. The next thing is compassion, dude. And I'm telling you, I've been doing this for 6 fucking years, and healing is not a linear journey. You're gonna have your good days, you're gonna have your bad days. But really, where the work really, really counts is when you have those bad days. And it's kind of like trading, like day trading. You want to have risk management and stop losses on the dips when your body dips down, or when your energy dips down, and when you get into that depression, that sadness. You got to have a plan for that. And it's not like being delusional and trying to like psych yourself out of it. It's doing more of like providing comfort and safety and addressing what really is going on. There could be some precursors to like why you're feeling depressed. And if you're not keeping track of your habits, what you're eating, you're sleeping, what are you consuming on a day? Like, are you just scrolling on TikTok all day? Are you reading? Are you exercising? Those could also contribute to that. But also there could be external factors, like a situation, like you could have watched a movie and a scene could have triggered you and like put you in a mood and cause your emotions and not your emotions, but your energy to dip down, and you get back in that depressive state because of that. But if you're unaware of that, you're just going to be a victim of it every single time. So recognizing what has happened to you. And I know there's some things that you're just like, I don't even remember. Like, it's just a bunch of blackout. And like, I'll get to that as well too, because like your brain sometimes it gotta shut the fuck up or shut the fuck off because it's too much. And it's like, I can't deal with this right now. We got to put this away for another time. And as you get older, maybe there may be a situation where your body actually feels safe enough to express these. But normally, we don't get that luxury, because when we get out into the real world, it's even more stress. It's even more things that pull us away from our healing, and then we just get into this vicious cycle, and we're just buying things to kind of like get through the day, and just slapping on, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you're just like slapping on a Band-Aid on something and trying to keep it moving, because time doesn't slow down for anyone. The Matrix doesn't. You still got bills to pay. You gotta eat, you gotta live, you gotta sleep, all this other shit too that gets in the way of your healing, and it just adds on to the stress. And honestly, I feel like it amplifies it. So it's a lot. So you have to really start paying attention to yourself, paying attention to your habits. There are ways that you can even find to improve your life, like, especially if you're not sleeping. Like, your sleep should be a priority for you, and a lot of times when I talk about this healing journey, some people, they like to talk about like having boundaries, and usually when they're talking about boundaries, they're usually talking about expressing that with other people. But honestly, you need to have boundaries with yourself. When you have boundaries with yourself, your boundaries will already be like executed through the person. You don't really have to exercise that, because you're going to be standing up for yourself. You're going to be like, no, I need to go to bed early tonight. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Sorry, I can't go with you this time. Maybe we can plan something out, next week or some shit like that. Or, you hold boundaries for yourself to refuse to accept bad treatment from others. Or, I can go on all day with examples, but the biggest thing is having boundaries with yourself, especially when you've been raised in an environment where boundaries were punished, and, you maybe even received physical harm for even trying to stand up for yourself. So these are kind of the small ways that you can step up for yourself, because you have to, you have to be the one. You can't look outside of someone else and like look for that love. And I know we've all been there, because that's what we thought that we had to do. That's what we thought, that's what we were taught. And then when you get into real world, you realize that's not the case. It's not the case at all. So having boundaries with yourself, not strict, like you have to practice that. You have to practice that with yourself first before you can practice that within it. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, you damn sure, so it's one of those things that you have to like reparent yourself. And you can go off and you can pay someone to like tell you what to do, but ultimately you still gonna probably find yourself back looking for more answers, because this person didn't work. I feel like it's everyone's personal responsibility to find what works for them. And it's okay to like, there's like a lot of online mentors. Some of them, you know, you need to be a little careful of, especially the little 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds that are up here speaking like life advice that haven't really like lived yet. Be careful of that, because they're just regurgitating information. Look for people that you can tell that have really walked through this, have really overstepped these boundaries, and they share their story, they share their life, what they've been through. I know I really like don't like talking about my past because it was extremely painful, to the point where I definitely didn't want to be here anymore. I've been so isolated from people, from my own doing, from outside sources. I've dealt with a lot of betrayal, jealousy, a lot of backstabbing. There's a lot of people that were jealous, and I had no idea why. All I did was love this person. You know, they used and manipulated me. My parents kept me isolated. They didn't let me go out. They didn't let me go out and hang out with friends. I was damn near a household slave. I was not allowed to, like, they had me stay at home and clean up everything. And then when they got me a car, it wasn't just for me to, it was a car. They got me a car just so I could run their fucking errands. Like, I didn't even want the fucking car, because I already knew what was going to happen. My dad used to have me driving all around town, running stupid errands for him, and then my mom would have me take my siblings to their friend's house so they could stay over the weekend, but tell me no, that I can't go, you know, or I have to get up earlier to take my siblings to the bus stop, you know, even though they've been walking there that whole time. You know, all of a sudden I got a car, now I got to get up and take them to the bus stop early, even though I got school and I need to sleep, you know, but fuck my feelings. I could go on all day. And but what I want to say is, I just want you guys to know, like, I've been through it too. I've literally been doing this for 6 years, 7 years. And I'm at a place now where I feel confident in sleeping. Sleeping used to scare the shit out of me. I just hated when the sun went down, because I knew I was going to be staring at the freaking wall and being stuck with my own thoughts for the next 12 hours, you know? And you just not knowing what to do or do it myself. And I'm like just getting constantly tired. Things are getting blurry. I'm seeing shit. It's not a good experience. And now I'm in a place now where I can, even like some days I don't sleep well. But during those times, I'm calm. You know, I get up, meditate, read, do yoga, you know, until I get sleepy. But sometimes, like, when you have work and everything and you got to get up, and like that really disrupts the schedule. And like, this is something that I've also struggled with, and like, you have to really find time to really navigate through. You got to get your priorities in alignment, you know. You got to realize your behavior, even your people-pleasing behaviors, like really recognizing all the ways in which what is causing your suffering in your life. And you play a humongous role in that, unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, because of what I explained earlier, because our brain chemistry literally changed. So you have to be easy on yourself. There's a lot of undoing that you have to do first. You know, you can't rush yourself and be like, oh, why am I still... You endured so fucking much. Like, think about it. Like, imagine you going out, like, you went to war every fucking day. Like, think about war, like, veterans. They kept getting sent out there in that crazy shit. And, like, how could you forget that? How could you just move on with your life? You know, yeah, they dealt with something that was physical, but you dealt with something that maybe you're physical and mental for years through the most important developmental place in your life. Please be gentle with yourself. A lot of fucked up shit has happened. A lot of fucked up shit is happening. The next thing, you know, after you identify what is going on, like what are your symptoms? You've identified, like, okay, I definitely have complex PTSD. I definitely have childhood emotional neglect. I definitely am bipolar. I definitely am, like, you know, I could go riddle off. There's so many like byproducts of trauma. And like, it just takes you on different routes. You just got to kind of figure out where you are, so that way you can find ways to heal certain parts that are just standing out to you. And having compassion. Like, so much compassion. You have to fall in love with yourself. You have to treat yourself as like if you are your own baby. Like everything that your parents didn't give you, you give that to yourself, especially when you go back and you revisit these painful times. When you start to feel that dip, when you start to feel like you're feeling like you start feeling depressed, everything, you have to really like sit back and think about like, you know, what are causing these feelings, what situations, and like really sit down with it. Really like don't try to distract yourself. You know, maybe you need to get away from people for a little bit so that way you feel safe enough to feel your feelings. Journaling also is another recommendation. I'm actually starting a journal club. I'm in the mix of that. It's going to be $5 a month. I'm going to send you some journal prompts. We're going to talk about these things. I'll have live Q&As. You'll get emails every week. And we'll talk and really explain like what's going on in our psyches and really understanding what in our minds, so that way we can heal, you know, truly. You know, there's some things that have to be pried out because you've closed a lot of doors. And with this journaling group that I want to create, this could be a place where, you know, everyone can share their truth and maybe shed some light and inspire someone to start their healing journey or to open up a new pathway, you know. And it's all about sharing. You know, we all hold the keys to healing, you know, but it's just a matter of like being okay with shining our light or speaking our truth, in a sense. So with that being said, you know, I'll the next video I will probably drop the journey club. I'm still working on a few things because I want to do it together. So there's gonna be like cycles, but I know like I can't control that as much, but like as you join, it'll put you on track, and then like you can go back and watch all the past ones or whatever. But we'll get to that. But yes, I really do. Journaling has helped me so much. And it goes back to what I was saying before about tracking your habits, journaling your habits, your eating habits. When you go to bed, you know, like, what did you watch? Who pissed you off? You're feeling sad today. Do you know why? You know, you're feeling happy today. Do you know why? Like, you know, it's just like, it can go either way, but it's just like, you're just observing yourself. So that way it gives you a better understanding of like what your needs are, especially when you've been taking care of everyone else. You don't know who the fuck you are because you just been so busy people pleasing, because that is how you survived, by appeasing other people, unfortunately. And you don't know any other way sometimes. And it's frustrating because you just feel like you're always getting the short end of the stick, but you're putting yourself in a position to get smushed because that's how your parents raised you, you know? So they could control and dominate you. Weird. Crazy. It happened. But you can't stay stuck in the past. You cannot stay stuck in the past. You deserve to live a fulfilling life and free of that, you know. And I know that it happened, you know, but you have to let that go. And you're like, well, how the fuck do I let go? By feeling your feelings. Really feeling your feelings. Just let it out, you know, be by yourself. If those feelings arise, I'm not saying go out there and search for them and look for them, you know, because sometimes you might get kamikaze and you're like, shit, but sometimes you got to just roll with it. And it's just, you're just going to have to roll with it. If you're at work, be like, I got to go to the bathroom or something, or go outside, sit in your car and fucking just let it out, let it pass. So the thing is, we don't let our emotions pass. We hold on to them and then we spin stories about them. And I know if you definitely have complex PTSD or childhood emotional neglect, you ruminate and you replay the past over and over again. You think about all the times someone's rejected you, and you think about, what if it was this? What if it was different here? Or you have this whole fucking like fantasy world like built up around that person's situation, whatever it is, and it just keeps playing in your mind over and over again, you know, and it drives you fucking crazy because you can't seem to stop. That's your mind just trying to get you to realize the loop that you're in, you know. And for me, like, I just got so tired of hearing like go to the past, 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 like go to the past. And I'm just like, I don't fucking know. I thought I was doing it. I don't fucking know. Like, how do you fucking let go? You let go by stop caring so much. And I know that it's like sucks because it was like, it's so painful. Like, you feel so, but you just, it's not fair. It really isn't. You know, people did all these things to you, and now it's your job to fucking just like let it all go and release it. All that shit is fucked up. It's fucked up. There's no easy way around it. Healing comes in waves. You're gonna have, when you dip down, you're gonna have to take advantage of that and really use that to really just cry and release and just really feel those feelings. Don't numb yourself out. Stay away from the weed for a little bit. Stay away from the alcohol. Stay away from the booze. Drink more water. Meditate. Listen to guided meditations if you can't just sit still. But meditation isn't just about just clearing your mind. It's about getting out of here and into your body. Leaving, your thoughts they're always gonna run. You can't fucking stop your thoughts. It's just more about paying attention to what your body's messages are giving you and being in your body and enjoying the sensations around you. Like feeling your butt on the ground in the chair, feeling the AC, like the AC blowing you or a fan, hearing the chirping of birds. It's just getting really engrossed with that and teaching your body to get out of your head so much and into your heart space. And when you do that, it gives you more space to deal with your emotions, especially when you breathe. You need space. Right now, like, I'm pretty sure your head feels like it's about to fucking explode. There's just so much going on in your head. But as you slow down and you give less attention to the thoughts in your mind and more into your body, you won't be thinking about all that shit so much. You won't be thinking about all that shit too much. And it takes time. I'm not saying this is like, I hate when people try to rush healing and like, oh, quick fixes to do this, 3 tips to da-da-da-da-da. I'll tell you right now, no. No. Wishful thinking, but then you'll be right back to the drawing board. Been there, done that. I've finally, out of my 6 years of like trial and error of trying to heal myself, within these last 3 months, 3 years, 2 years, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned the ways in which I've contributed to my own suffering. I've learned so much. I've learned about what my needs are. I've learned how to balance my emotions, especially when there's something like, I have a huge rejection sensitivity, but I play it off pretty well because I'm aware of it now. But it causes me to ruminate. Even if I decide, like, if the person does something I don't like and I say my piece and then, like, you know what, this is gonna work out, I appreciate your time, I'm walking away, but I will still be thinking about that shit, because I'm just like, why do people, like, it's not, you can't control other people, especially like when we have this, when we're in this pain, like, I can't even talk right now, but when we're in this state of just like, we're in so much pain and we just want to connect and we just like, we're and people can sense it. And that's why I think that a lot of people like tend to push away, because they feel that desperateness. They feel that need to connect so bad. And they're like, which refuels the cycle. And you're just like, why does no one want to be around me? Why does no one want to talk to me? They come up and they're so interested, and all of a sudden they just like, then they ghost you. And then they like lead you further down the hole. And I'm telling you, it's an energy that has to be released. It's an energy that actually not even be released. It's just something that needs to be brought to your attention and transmuted. Once you understand the desperateness and the need for connection, you can understand like why. Okay, I understand why, but you have to go back to those feelings of like when you didn't feel like when you got rejected for the first time, probably by your parents or maybe a classmate, or that didn't want to play with you, a coworker that snitched on you or some shit like that. It's a lot of things, but you got to revisit that moment and understand, so that way you can catch yourself in real time and not just get flung off the deep end when you get triggered, because that's the whole thing about this. You're managing yourself, you're managing your emotions, but it takes some time to know yourself. It really does. You can't rush it. The last thing that I wanted to share, especially on this journey, is really just creating space for yourself. And you have to cut the negative self-talk. You got to fucking cut it. Because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else fucking will. If you don't think that you're awesome, and that you're accepting of love and that you are deserving of love, you're not going to get those things because you believe that you don't. So then your mind recreates these to support that belief. You have to step out of it, as much as painful as it is. And I fucking know. It's just like, it's painful even to like think that, because you've been so deprived your whole fucking life. But you have to go back, not only to look at the bad parts of your life and the parts where trauma was induced on you. You have to go back and look at all the great things that happened in your life. You know, because of all of this, because of the childhood emotional neglect, because of the CPTSD, you have the capacity to love deeper. You know, you are a kind person. You know, you're a trusting person. There's nothing wrong with any of that. These people have taken advantage of that. You are not the problem here, even though they've made you. There's a lot of undoing that you have to do. You have to rebuild yourself up and recreate yourself and dismantle all the things that were put on you because they were never yours in the first place. They were never yours. But having that love, that self-love, that true love, that you know that you are a courageous warrior and you still are here continuing to fight. Like, if you're watching this video right now, you are taking the steps towards your healing. You are serious about it. You are a warrior. That is something that is amazing that you are doing for yourself, because a lot of people don't. You know what they do? They double down. They stick to the bottle, they stick to some drugs, or they stick to people. But you're like, no, I don't want that for myself. I want a life where I'm surrounded by loving individuals. I want a life where I feel accepted and validated. I want a life that I feel safe and secure. And those things they're there for you. They are right there. And I'm still working on my journey myself. I'm always isolated. I feel so isolated, but not anymore. Not anymore. I used to feel so disconnected, but I was also separating myself from other people because of the judgments and the criticisms that were still lying within me. Judgments and criticisms that were put on me, that I projected out in the world. I had no idea. They were my mom, they were my father, they were my, whoever. And I would get pissed because of people didn't react the way that I needed them to, or they didn't respond the way that I needed them to, because I'm like, hey, we're going to be friends, so you need to act accordingly. And when you don't, I'm just like off with your head, or I just leave, or I just ghost. But then I want to get upset when people ghost me. That is the next thing. The shadow work. The shadow work. Yes, boo! Shadow work is not just about realizing all the fucked up shit that's happened to you. Shadow work is about realizing the fucked up shit that you also contribute to the world. You're not always a kind person. You also lie, cheat, steal, manipulate, whether you know it or not. All those things that piss you off about other people, you do it too, darling. It just may be in a different way, shape, or form. And the reason why you get so pissed is because you hold yourself back from expressing that. And you project that, like, how dare you behave in this way when I have willpower to suppress this and not express this in a way. How dare you? Look, understand, use people as mirrors, especially like the behavior that you don't like. In one way, you could be like, in one way, shape, or form. If you're getting tired of people lying to you all the time, in what ways are you lying to yourself? In what ways are you in denial? In what ways do you betray yourself? That's why it keeps repeating. So really going in, and it's not about just bashing yourself and be like, oh, I'm just a fucked up person too. No, that's not the point of the exercise. The point of the exercise is to humble and relax those judgments, those criticisms, because you are a whole person. You are also capable of doing those things, and these things happen. Sometimes we're not always gonna be perfect and be in our character. You're gonna lie, you're gonna cheat, you're gonna steal, you're gonna do whatever. You're gonna be jealous and envious. You may do something to hurt someone out of spite because they pissed you off. That's what humans do. We're all capable of it. It happens. You can't beat yourself over and also hold yourself to this stand. It's suffocating. So it's like finding wholeness within yourself and accepting who you are as you are in that moment. You know, I'm not saying go out there and be a fucking tyrant and just terrorize people because that's what you feel on the inside. I'm just saying, like, these moments happen, and sometimes, you know, like, hey man, you know, that was fucked up. I probably shouldn't even have said some shit like that. Or, you know, like, you know, you probably shouldn't have stole that. You know, but these things happen. They happen. And it just helps you to not take things so seriously or personally, is what that's the better word. You're not going to take it as personally. So that it kind of relaxes the trigger in a sense. And you have more control of your emotions, and you'll be able to assess the situation and be like, I'm feeling this right now because of X, Y, Z. And it's like, you know, it's okay. It's okay. You take a deep breath and you figure out how you want to respond, you know, and you take your time. Don't let people pressure you. Don't rush this journey. You know, you're not going to be this perfect person for anyone. You need to be this awesome person for yourself first. Prove to yourself that you are the love that you wish to receive. Give that love to yourself. You are your own top priority. And understanding those things will help you to heal. I'm just reminiscing now at this point, because I know I've come so far, and I've done a lot of work on myself, and it seems like I don't have a lot to prove for it, because it's nothing physical. This is all my energy, and if you're around me, I know you'll know. Definitely, there's something different going on, and I'm at peace with myself. I love myself so much because I've done the work, and I've seen how awesome and courageous and supportive and encouraging that I am. I am a very awesome person to be around. You're gonna learn some things when you hang around me. Just such an uplifting, light, bright energy that's just excited and curious. You know, and I fall in love with that person because I've allowed myself to see that part of me. And I challenge you to see the greatness in you. To really look at yourself in the mirror and look yourself in the eyes, and how you go off and you see other people and you see the good in them. Why can't you do that for yourself? Stop blaming other people. It's not their fault, and it's not yours either. There's no blame to be given. It happened, and it sucked. It sucked so fucking bad. But you can't keep dwelling on it, because where does it lead you? Misery, pain, suffering, because you don't see the value in yourself. You wish someone else would just see it in you and just like whisk you off your feet and take that love away. But you have to freaking build your own foundation. You got to build that shit so high that no one can take you down. And you do that by celebrating your wins, by seeing the good in you, and focusing on that and expanding on that, and loving the parts that you don't like, giving them love and compassion, because you didn't get that person, that version of you didn't get that. And it's up to you. You can't tell someone from the past, like you can't tell Joe that's sitting right next to you, hey man, go back in my past and fucking apologize when you stepped on my toe on purpose because I wanted to play with your army men. Or it's like some shit like that. Like you can't just tell someone to just do that. You have to go back, zoom into that moment and see what happened objectively, and get nurture yourself. It's like all the things that you think about yourself as your own best friend, and think about the advice and how you would treat your best friend and what you would say to them, and tell that to yourself. That's one of the hardest things in this journey, is to really change your perspective on yourself, because you've got there's been so much negativity pounded into you, and you have to decompress and stretch out and allow yourself to see the other part. It's like they smush you down to an accordion, and now you have to expand yourself out so you can see all these other folds in here, all this other good stuff in here. You can finally make some music, because you can't make no music with a closed accordion. You gotta open it up, air it out. But that's all I got for today. I really wanted to share that. Hopefully some of these things will help you. If you have any questions or you want to talk more, write in the comments. Send me a message. My door is always open, especially when it comes to stuff like this, because I know how hard this journey is, and I know how like lonely and isolating it is, and it's so painful. You feel it here and you feel it in your back because you feel so unsupported. I want to challenge that belief, because you do have support. You have support right here. You have support right here. You're not alone in this. You're not alone, so don't think that. Reach out. Reach out if you're struggling. Ask for help. I know it's hard because you're so hyper independent and you don't think anyone could help you. I've been there. Scared shitless that someone's not going to tell you the right thing. If you've watched it in my videos, you know that I'm not going to give you some bullshit advice. I'm not going to take your feelings and like to minimize them or minuscule them, because I want to build community. I want to build safe spots for people like us that have gone through these things. So reach out. Don't seal yourself off and close yourself off from the world that is continuously fueling those feelings of loneliness. There's no need for it. You can reach out here. But hopefully this helped, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.